Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. This is your one and only Step Bro. And we're going to give you the much awaited review for the Chieftain Mk.6, currently in store for 17,500 gold, or with all the bells and whistles for 20,000 gold. The Mk.6 is the second highest DPM heavy in the game, only beaten out by the WarZ113, which has about 200 more DPM. Okay, let's take a quick look at the vehicle. It carries a 120 mm gun with 400 alpha, 360 on your Premo, and 515 on your Hesh. Average penetration is about 260, 310 on your APCR, and 110 on Hesh. 10 degrees of gun depression, 3,167 DPM, with a reload about 7.6 seconds. Aiming time is pretty fast, 3.1. Dispersion 0.277, but that is because I'm running it with refined gun. If you will run it with vertical stabilizers, it's probably about 0.305 something. This is the equipment I run on the vehicle. I am running gun rammer and refined gun, and my only explanation is I want higher DPM. That's why I want gun rammer. It's not that I want the higher hash pen. I'm not running refined gun because it fits my playstyle. It could be different for you guys. You can run vertical stabilizers, you can run supercharger, or you can run calibrate shells. Whatever it works for you, works for you. But this is the equipment I'm running, and let's go over to the speed test. Here in the speed test, we wanted to show how the Mk.6 can keep up with an i7, something that everyone has seen in game. It's going to be an assigned 400% speed. As you can see, the Mk.6 is keeping up with the i7 and is only going to end just a few seconds behind the i7. Gunnery testing. Why is Hesh important? Hesh is one of the best things about the Mk.6. For one, it has more alpha damage, so your DPM scales up. 4,076 damage with Hesh, and you only have 3,167 with AP. So if you've ever played the 215B, 422, Charioteer, Vickers, or German Black Dog, the cheap HE option, or Hesh, still has a very high amount of penetration. Thirdly, since you are firing an HE round, you do have a higher chance of damaging people's modules. So as we'll be demonstrating with this 50B here, you're completely going to burn down its HP in about 27 seconds. Similarly, if you get the opportunity, you can fully penetrate most vehicles on the side with Hesh. Just to make sure to shoot the parts that are grayed out, not the parts in yellow or red. There are certain vehicles like the i7 where it can be... There's spaced armor, so it won't really go through. You just have to try out for yourself. This can be a game changer against mediums though, or lights, who generally have a higher DPM than you, and you can even out the odds pretty fast because you have Hesh. Now, there are things that you should know about the Mk.6. The turret armor and paper is pretty good, but as you just saw, you can pretty much overmatch the roof of the Mk.6. We are shooting with another Mk.6 on this Mk.6 without calibrated shells, and we can just pen the roof pretty easily. You also have to remember that you have the hatch to protect, which can be penned by vehicles with Hesh or bigger guns like TDs with HE. So that's going to be a 1000 HP off if you make a mistake. Hull down is still your best bet though, because you basically have no armor. Upper plate can be troll, it's pretty good, but other than that, lower plate, side armor, it's just not existent. Do not even attempt to side scrape in this vehicle because you will get murdered. Your best bet is to try and protect your hatch and other weak spots like the turret, the roof weak spot, and just pull out the fire after you've reloaded and pre-aimed so you can get your instant shot out, pull back, run away. Doesn't mean you can't trade with like 60 TPs or bigger vehicles, but you have to trade smartly. You can't just, poke out and expect everyone to bounce your turret. So watch out for people pre-aiming when you poke out and try and maximize your gun depression. Find different angles to shoot them because you have 10 degrees of gun depression, or you will get wrecked. And for the final part of the stream, we will do an ace replay. This is a normal game, and we're gonna see how we're gonna bring out the Mk.6 the best way possible. We're not gonna discuss much about what I could have done, what should have done, but you can see like being in a hull down spot, using Hesh on vehicles. This is pretty much what you have to do in the Mk.6. You have to try and stay safe, don't poke out too much. Find those angles where you can shoot someone without getting shot back. And make sure you find every opportunity, again, to use Hesh. Because Hesh is a lot more damage. Like the back of that 50B might have been unfortunate. We didn't pin that shot, but it's always about the hash. So hash shell velocity is a bit lower. It's like an HE round. But when you do hit, you have a higher chance of damaging modules. And you have that big alpha. Like what we're going to do in the Kanban. Hash. And then you're going to move behind him. And fire hash. Right? If you fire AP, you could be doing... I could have probably done less damage if I fired AP. But since we are firing hash, and we're finding a safe spot to fire the hash, always the rear of the turret, you can probably Amarak a 50B or a Kranvan if you're doing that. So it's all about the hash. And of course, since you have a lot of penetration, you can probably use it to clear vehicles more efficiently, although it's not a bigger caliber, so you're probably only splashing for about 100, 200 damage. But, it's still pretty good. You have to use hash. Now, with this thing, you also have to remember, you have no side armor. You have no armor whatsoever other than turret. Your upper plate has a bit of armor, but again, I wouldn't rely on it. So when you're poking out in the open trying to clear targets, make sure you're behind hard cover so you don't get shot on your side. Instead, look for areas where you can use your gun depression, and you can also protect yourself from being cross-fired on different angles. And it's a good way to demonstrate that the Mark 6 aims pretty fast. No, the shell velocity is pretty high already. And how the upper plate can be troll at times, right? You can get those bounces, but don't rely on it. Most people will just pretty much cut through you like butter. Given that was a Foch, you can you can pretty much bounce. The gun's not the best thing. The gun's not the most accurate. Unfortunately, on this 50B, we ran out of hash, but you can still see how he has 3k DPM, you have 3167, so you're a bit higher DPM. You can still out trade a 50B somewhat, but you're gonna lose out a lot if he doesn't bounce. Like if he bounces the upper plate like that, yeah, sure, you get a chance, but most likely don't go out in the open. Like don't be that greedy for damage. We're just being greedy right now because it's the end of the game. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the review, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave any comments or opinions in the description down below. What would you want me to cover next? What vehicle should we do next? And until next time, this is Step Bro signing out.